Alright guys, here it is. We're here at Black Market Racing. Today is the 6th and we are about to get that dyno tune, get this thing off of that base map and onto the street tune. So guys, we have a failed attempt here. We got some things dialed in, but we are running out of fuel. Fuel's at 36% at watt, so we are going to have to address that fueling issue probably somewhere about the hat, between the hat and the fuel pump. Check the lines there, see what's going on. So guys, we're back. A failed dyno attempt last week. Reason why, there was some problem with the fuel. So decided to go ahead and, for safety reasons, didn't want to hurt the motor in any kind of way. Bring the car back to the garage. Decided to find out what was the issue. And luckily, we already had a hatch in the actual V. So the previous owner had cut one inside of the tank there, right above the tank. So that was really cool. Made it easy not to have to drop the tank to get to the fuel pumps. So got to the fuel pumps, got this thing opened up, and first thing I realized that was probably one of my bigger problems was, this is kind of the aftermath of what I've done. I realized that this hose, the factory hose, was not on there, obviously, so someone had already put in DW 300Cs in there, so this was already touched before. But what had happened is that I noticed that this line right here was all one line. It was just and it had a serious kink. So I actually put a 90 in there, as you can see here, get that in focus, and got a really nice elbow in there and tied off pretty tightly. And now we don't have a kink in the line. And that thing was pretty significant. I mean, it really closed that down to maybe half or more, probably almost 3/4 of what the actual width of that hose was. It was closed down and pinched. So I imagine that had something to do with the line pressure, fuel pressure dropping. Also, I noticed on this other pump here, it was seated in the in the cradle there, and into the filter. And I was noticing that there was some white residue coming down the side of this fuel pump, and I've washed it off already, kind of wiped it off rather, at this point, but it was a nice dried up stream. So I remember reading and seeing that if the O-ring had backed out to some degree, then it would be losing pressure at the top of that, around that O-ring, and it would then fall or actually spray down. It indicated that I was getting that O-ring had backed out some and was losing pressure and sending that extra fuel, or that pressurized fuel, down the side of this pump. So for safe measure, I also did a test to find out if the pumps were running good. So I noticed that what had happened also is that I did a test on the fuel pumps. I took both the left side, right side, or A and B, I'll call it for this video purpose, and literally placed 12-volt charge to these fuel pumps, sunk this into a cooler with about 5 gallons of gas in it, of E85, and had it pump that right into a 1-gallon container. Now this pump right here, it pumped the gas in at about 1 minute and 45 seconds. And while this pump right here, the other DW 300C, pumped the gas in at 1 minute and 25 seconds. So I noticed there was about a 20 to 25 second difference on the actual pump. I tested it about 3 or 4 times just to make sure, and it was pretty consistent. So I decided to go ahead and order another DW 300C. Got another one coming in through Amazon, should be here today, and I will be installing that. So between a pump that seems like it might be starting to fail and replacing that, between the 90-degree tube here that was hose that was really pinched, and correcting that, and also replacing the O-ring in a better position and making sure that doesn't come back out, it hasn't backed out when I place that back into its cradle there, I think we'll have our fuel pump and fuel pressure problem solved. So I'm really excited about getting this back together. As soon as that pump comes in through Amazon or here at USPS, I will be installing that back into the V, and I will be getting ready for the dyno, which is on the 14th. So see what happens there.